All right, buckle up for this deep dive because we're going on a trip this time.
Oh, yeah.
A musical, historical, AI-powered trip. We're looking at a project that ties together music, AI, and history with specifically the non-aligned movement.
Sounds ambitious.
It is. And you were kind enough to send over an entire album AND website, so let's get into it. Where do we even begin?
Well, for those unfamiliar with it, the non-aligned movement, ANEM for short,
NAM.
it was a group of countries during the Cold War who opted out of siding with the U.S. or the Soviet Union. They were determined to forge their own path.
It's like they said, we're not picking teams in your Cold War, we're starting our own league. And that independent spirit is definitely alive and well in this album you sent over.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, Mostovi, Nade, which means Bridges of Hope. Get this, fictional Yugoslav rock band called Jedinstveni, which means unity of sound. I mean, come on, even the names are all about bridging divides.
It's very clever.
Right.
Yeah, the whole album is kind of a revival of that NAM spirit, exploring themes of unity and reconciliation, especially in the context of former Yugoslavia.
Right, which had a ton of diversity and, let's face it, conflict.
Exactly.
Okay, so hold on, because this is where it gets really interesting. The music on the album, it's AI generated. The band, Jedinstveni, is totally made up. But here's the thing. Each band member represents a different ethnicity from the former Yugoslav republics. So they all have these backstories and different musical influences that come together in the music.
It's like they created this microcosm of Yugoslavia within the band itself.
Yeah, like a little musical Yugoslavia.
Yeah, for example, the lead singer Luka Markovic.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about him.
Well, he's Montenegrin, and his voice is supposed to be this blend of hard rock and Balkan folk traditions.
Whoa, now that is a mix. Hard rock meets Balkan folk. Okay, I've got to hear this.
Yeah, it's quite something.
And then there's Ana Jovanovic, the drummer. She's Serbian, and her style, I was reading, is intense, but still really melodic. She kind of bridges all the different sounds of the band.
Yeah, and that detail about the drummer, that's important because it reinforces the album's overall message. This idea of bridging divides, even within the music itself.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay, so the album itself, 11 tracks, and each one tackles a different aspect of like peace, unity, hope. It's structured like a journey, right?
It is, yeah. And I think the first track, Put Mirror the Path of Peace in English, really sets the stage.
Oh, totally. Setting the tone.
And then there's 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡𝗞𝗔, which means unity and diversity. This one feels like a real celebration of the region's mix of cultures and backgrounds, which, as you picked up on, is a major theme throughout the project.
Yeah. And some tracks seem to be dealing with the past, like 𝗓𝗔 𝗓𝗕ᗓ𝗓, The Shadow of Past Times, acknowledging history but not letting it define you.
Right. And then there were tracks like Novi Horizonti, New Horizons, and Zlatna Nit, The Golden Thread, which feel more about new beginnings and emphasizing the interconnectedness of people.
Okay, so I'm sensing a pattern here. It's like the album's this journey from the past to the present, looking at how to build a more hopeful future.
And that ties in very closely with the whole concept of Yugo nostalgia.
Okay, so like nostalgia for Yugoslavia.
Yeah, but it's more nuanced than that. Imagine like a longing for a time of unity and stability.
Right.
When differences were something to be celebrated.
So it's not about missing the past itself,
No.
but what it stood for.
Exactly.
And the album's trying to capture that.
Exactly.
I like it. All right, so music. Fictional band, yearning for a more unified past. But we've got one more piece to this puzzle, right?
We do.
TATANKA.
TATANKA, yes.
The organization whose website you sent. They're all about developing ethical and humane AI, which, I mean, come on, that's a huge topic these days, right? Plus, they focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion in line with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
What's striking to me is how TATANKA's whole mission seems to really echo the themes of the Mostovi Nade album. They're both kind of striving for this future where technology and humanity work together.
To make things better for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. And there was that section on the website called The Herd. They ask all these tough questions about society and kind of like encourage people to think critically and have these important conversations. They even have a connection to the Burning Man Festival, which, you know, makes you think about the links between art, technology, and community.
It really does. It raises questions about how we can use those tools to make positive changes, you know, amplify voices that aren't often heard and promote understanding between different cultures.
Totally. Okay, so we've got this great music, a fictional band that reflects the diversity of Yugoslavia, longing for a more unified past, and an organization that's working towards a more ethical and inclusive future. Phew. But wait, there's one more thing. the fictional narrative. A day in 𝗧𗔔𗓉, Annika's decision.
Ah, yes, the narrative.
This is where we get that personal perspective on all these themes, right?
Exactly.
So it's set in 𝗧𗔔𗓉, Yugoslavia, and follows Annika, this young woman who's kind of yearning for something more in life. She's super passionate about art, and a chance encounter with this mysterious man leads her to an underground group that's advocating for freedom. Sounds pretty intense.
It is. It is. Just imagine living in a society that seems to be all about unity and progress. But under the surface, there's this desire for real freedom of expression.
Like a hidden tension.
Yeah.
So that's Annika's world, and art is her outlet, her way of speaking out.
Exactly.
I'm hooked already.
Yeah, quite a story.
So we got music, a website, and a story all intertwined. Where do we go from here?
Well, let's dive into Annika's world and see where her journey takes us.
Okay, lead the way. I'm ready for the next layer of this deep dive.
So as we get deeper into the album, the next few tracks seem to really reflect what Annika's going through.
Oh, interesting. Like the music is mirroring her journey.
Yeah, kind of like a musical mirror to her emotional state.
I like it.
For example, track 4, Novi Horizonti.
New Horizon.
Right. It feels like it captures that excitement and hope Annika feels when she joins this underground group.
Makes sense.
It's got this really uplifting energy, you know. Very hopeful.
Yeah, like that feeling of taking a leap into the unknown.
Exactly. And there's this line in the lyrics that says, "We look into the distance, a world that's being born, fresh winds bring peace."
Wow. Yeah, very fitting for starting something new.
But, you know, new beginnings usually come with challenges.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, how do you balance that excitement with, I don't know, fear?
And that's where things get really interesting with Annika. She starts to feel this paranoia, like she's being watched.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the threat of surveillance is very real for her.
Imagine that, constantly feeling like you're being watched, like you can't be yourself. I bet that was stressful.
Very much so. And you have to consider the context. This is Yugoslavia during the Cold War.
Right.
The idea of unity, but also suppressing dissent, creates a lot of tension.
So it's like this push and pull between hope and fear.
Right.
And it's reflected in the music.
Exactly. Track 5, 𝗧𗔔 Balkana, Heart of the Balkans.
I like that title.
It's got this, like, grand anthemic sound that celebrates the region. But there's also this undercurrent of something darker, something unsettling.
Oh, I see what you mean. The music can convey that so well.
And the lyrics talk about the Balkans being this, like, heart of Europe, this crossroads where East meets West.
It's like a metaphor.
It is. It's acknowledging that there's a lot of complexity to the region's history.
Yeah, it's not shying away from the difficult stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so Annika's navigating this world of secret meetings, feeling paranoid. And then we get introduced to Dragan,
Yes.
the mysterious guy who brings her into this group.
Right.
There's a romantic connection, but it's deeper than that, right?
Oh, definitely. They're kindred spirits, drawn together by their shared passion for art and freedom.
Ah, okay, so Dragan kind of encourages her to use her art to resist, to, like, challenge the status quo.
Exactly. He becomes a mentor to her, guiding her to find her voice.
I like that, finding her voice.
And track 6 on the album, 𝗧𝗔𝗔 𝗔𝗡, The Golden Thread,
Yeah.
seems to be all about that connection they have.
Oh, interesting. What's it like?
It's more introspective, very intimate.
Makes sense.
And the lyrics are beautiful. There's this line, "In the heart of every people, there's a thread, golden, thin, passing through time. Despite the differences, we are one. In one line, we are all connected."
Wow. Really powerful stuff.
As Annika gets more involved, her art starts to reflect that connection too. It becomes more bold, more challenging to the regime.
Okay, so she's using her art as a weapon, but a peaceful one.
Yes, exactly. It's like she's planting these seeds of rebellion with her art.
I like that metaphor.
And there's this one sketch she does. It's this massive image of interconnected bridges. It becomes a symbol of what they're fighting for.
Bridges as a symbol of connection, very clever. And the music follows suit, right?
Absolutely. Track 7, 𝗧𝗔𝗔 Nade, Eternal Hope, has this really driving energy, a real sense of purpose.
Yeah, like a soundtrack to Annika's transformation.
The chorus is very powerful too. Eternal hope. It carries us. It never stops. It never dies. Together we stand. Faith leads us. Eternal hope. It shines within us.
Wow, I'm getting chills. It's like a call to never give up on hope.
And that's crucial for Annika because, challenging the regime isn't without its risks.
Right, things are going to get tough.
Her relationship with Dragan gets deeper. They become comrades in this fight for freedom.
But the more committed they are, the more dangerous it gets, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And track 8, 𝗓𝗓 𝗓𝗓, Hands Together, captures that sense of relying on each other for strength.
Simple, but powerful.
Right. And there's a scene in the story where they're working together, literally hand in hand, on this bridge installation.
Okay, this is getting good. I'm on the edge of my seat. But knowing stories like this, I bet something bad is about to happen.
Well, you're not wrong. Just as they're ready to unveil the bridge installation, Annika realizes how much danger she's in.
Oh.
The stakes are high. The threat of being caught is terrifying.
Man, I hate it when things go wrong for the characters I like, but it makes for a good story.
It does. And track 9 on the album, 𝗧𗔥𗔄𝗎, Song of Freedom, really captures that mix of danger and determination. A powerful song.
Makes sense. So despite all this fear, Annika and the group are still holding on to hope.
They are, and the unveiling of the installation is really a key moment. It's described as breathtaking, this towering structure of interconnected bridges.
Their ideals are literally taking shape.
But, of course, hope can be fragile.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
The crowd's reaction to the installation is mixed. Some are inspired, others are threatened by the message.
Oh, I see where this is going.
And in the aftermath, the regime cracks down.
I knew it. What happened?
The installation gets destroyed.
Oh, no.
And members of the group are arrested. Annika barely escapes.
This is heartbreaking.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that fighting for what you believe in can have serious consequences.
So Annika has lost everything. Her friends, her art, her sense of safety. What does she do?
She's left with a difficult choice. Stay in Ljubljana and risk being caught.
Right.
Or flee and join a network of dissidents in another country.
That's a tough choice. It's like she's found her purpose, her people, but staying puts her in danger? How do you choose?
And as she's trying to decide, we hear track 11, 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗓𝗓, Land of Hope. It's got this melancholy sound, but also a sense of resilience.
Beautiful. Like the music is acknowledging her struggle.
Exactly.
Man, what a cliffhanger. I need to know what happens next.
Oh, get ready for a surprise.
All right, so Annika, stay or go. What's her decision?
Well, she decides to stay in Ljubljana.
Wow, okay. I honestly thought she'd leave, but you know what? It makes sense. She's grown so much throughout the story, found her strength. Leaving would feel like giving up on everything, right?
It would, and remember, she's found her purpose in this fight for freedom. It's become a part of who she is.
It really highlights how sometimes the bravest thing to do is to face your fears head on and stand up for what you believe in.
And the story continues. It jumps ahead a few years. The regime has fallen. Slovenia is now independent.
Whoa, so she gets to see the change she fought for.
She does. It's a bittersweet moment, though. The story acknowledges the victory, the freedom that's been achieved. But it also doesn't shy away from the sacrifices that were made.
Yeah, like celebrating the win, but also remembering those who were lost.
And Annika's art, which was once seen as dangerous, is now celebrated. Her sketches, remember those seeds of rebellion we talked about? They're now symbols of the struggle for freedom.
So powerful how things can change like that. But what about Annika? Where do we leave her at the end?
We find her by the Jedinstveni River.
Ah, back where it all began.
Full circle. She's older now, of course, and has gone through so much, but her spirit, her passion, it's still there.
I love that. She's back where she started, but completely transformed by the journey.
Don't you see a parallel between Annika's story and the non-aligned movement?
Oh, totally. They're both about carving your own path, fighting for what you believe in, even when it's hard.
And let's not forget the role of AI in this whole project.
Right. The band, the music, none of it would exist without AI.
It really makes you think about the power of technology to reimagine the past, to create something new.
And it raises all these questions about, like, authenticity. What does it even mean when something is created by AI?
That's a huge question.
Right.
And I think this project is a great exploration of that question. It's pushing boundaries and making us think about what AI can do, the good and the bad.
It's like we're on the edge of something new, and this is just a glimpse of what might be possible.
And the message is still there. Unity, peace, hope. Something we could all use a bit more of.
Absolutely. So wrapping up this amazing deep dive, we've got a fictional AI-generated album exploring the non-aligned movement. We have a real-world organization using AI for good. And we have Annika's powerful story of courage and resilience.
Wow, it's a lot to take in.
But it's all tied together by this idea of hope, the belief that we can create a better world even when things are tough.
Well said.
To our listeners, we say keep exploring, keep questioning, keep dreaming, and as always, keep diving deep. Come on.